Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening to our honorable guests and fellow participants. My name is Lutfi Adi Farizan Haryoko, and I will be your MC for today. First and foremost, I would like to express my thanks and gratitude to Indonesian Student Association, also known as Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia, University Teknologi Petronas, PPI UTP, for organizing this event, and to Young Professionals Club YPC Petronas Carigali Indonesia Operations for supporting this event. Also to everyone present in the MST platform for allocating the time to attend this coffee session today. Just a little housekeeping before we get started. If you have any questions during the sessions, please type the question in the chat box. The objective of this session covers with first is the opening remarks by President of UTP 2019-2020, Mr. Octavio Guardiola, followed by slide presentations by our honorable speakers. Third is interactive sessions with our moderator, followed with the Q&A sessions with participants, and the last is the group photo sessions and feedback form. Without further ado, let's turn the time over to Mr. Octavio Guardiola as President of PPI UTP 2019-2020 to give his opening remarks on today's occasion. To Mr. Octavio Guardiola, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lutfi. Assalamualaikum and a very good evening to respected speakers, Ms. Melinda Arisandi, Mr. Gassi Freza, Mr. Bari Hetaria, Mr. Gema Akbar, and Ms. Renata Putri, our co-advisor, Mr. Ewan Shah bin Abdullah from SSSD, all lecturers, committee members, and also last but not least, all respected participants. I am Octavio Guardiola, 2019-2020 President of Indonesian Students Association, or also known as PPI UTP. On behalf of all committees, we would like to give a very big thanks and appreciation for all the enthusiasts to this event of coffee session with Young Professionals Club Petronas Carigali Indonesia Operations, with the main theme of oil and gas career talk from young professional perspective. In this event later, there will be 5 speakers from YPC Petronas Carigali Indonesia Operations who will deliver their interesting materials. And through this event, we are very hoping that we can gain participants and also committees knowledge on what happened in oil and gas industry, especially during this pandemic situation. For those who are still not familiar with PPI UTP, I will generally explain about our organization. Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia University Teknologi Petronas, or also known as Indonesian Students Association University Teknologi Petronas, is an Indonesian students organization in UTP that established under Persatuan Pelajar Indonesia Malaysia. Our vision is to provide a place for all Indonesians in UTP to keep on tolerating, innovating, and also communicating each other. Besides that, over the last 16 years, we have conducting a variety of events that focuses on education. Lastly, once again, we would like to give a very big thanks and appreciations to all participants. And not to forget, we also would like to apologize previously for any inconvenience that you are experiencing during this event. Enjoy the event. Stay safe. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Octavio Guardiola, for your opening remarks. Moving on to the next session, we will turn the time over to Ms. Uliza Piaturusna as our moderator to lead the rest of the sessions. To Ms. Uliza Piaturusna, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Lutfi. Well, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and once again, a very good evening to all of you. And my name is Uli, and I will be the moderator for tonight's sessions. Everyone, you are all welcome to the Oil and Gas Career Talk from the young professional perspective, and I'm sure that you all agree that that's a very interesting topic we have tonight. And well, the discussion will be highlighting and featuring about how the young professional trailblazing through the ups and downs in the oil and gas industry, and how they find their career, the way to their career, and how they contribute to the industry. And also, we will also ask them to share their perspectives and maybe also their advices to us, or especially for the students or maybe the other young professional that is participating tonight. And we're so lucky to have five of the young professionals with us today from the PETRONAS Indonesia. Our first young professional is Miss Melinda Arisandi, who is presently a geoscientist in PETRONAS Indonesia. She was graduated from geology of Pajajaran University. She is also currently a president of this Indonesian Young Professional Club, or YPC PETRONAS. Miss Melinda Arisandi, maybe you can turn on your microphone and your camera.
Hello, everyone. Good
Hi.
night.
Good night. Good evening, Miss Melinda. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How
All
about
right.
you?
I've never been better. All right,
Oh,
Miss Melinda, nice to meet you, and I'll talk to you back later.
nice to meet you too.
All right. And secondly, we have Mr. Bari Hetaria. He is currently a project and joint venture accountant at Petronas. He has a master's degree in finance and business administration with a major in accounting. Mr. Bari,
Okay.
how are you
Hi,
doing?
everyone. I'm doing well. Thank you very much for the inviting us. And I'm looking forward to share some of my knowledge about the industry to all of you. Thank you
All
very
right.
much.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you, Mr. Bari, anyway.
Okay.
All right, and next we also have Miss Renata Putri, who is presently a corporate communication officer in Petronas Indonesia. She obtains a bachelor's degree in humanities from English Studies program at the University of Indonesia. Miss Renata? Hi,
Hello.
Miss Renata. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Very
All right,
excited
it's nice.
to join here. So thank you very much for inviting us. We're honored to join this virtual event.
You are most welcome. It's nice to meet you, Miss Renata.
Nice meeting you.
All right, move on to another young professional who is also rolling as a corporate communication officer at Petronas Indonesia. It's Mr. Muhammad Gasif Reza Keswara, or Mr. Gasif. He obtained his bachelor's degree in operation management at University of Surabaya in Indonesia and master's degree in marketing and brand management at the Oxford Brookes University in England. Mr. Gasif, you can join us.
Hello, thank you everyone. Nice to meet you too. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you.
You're welcome. And finally is Mr. Gema Khairul Akbar. He is currently a senior legal officer at Petronas Indonesia. He obtained his bachelor's degree in private law at Pajajaran University Indonesia and master's degree in business law from the same university, Pajajaran University in Indonesia. Mr. Gema?
Hai Uli, thank you. Assalamualaikum, selamat malam, good evening everyone.
Waalaikumsalam. That's a complete greetings. All right, Mr. Gema, thank you very much. All right, so that's all a brief introduction to our remarkable speakers tonight with the big CV. Now, before we begin, let me explain about the terms of the discussion. So the total time we have is 1.5 hours, and the discussion will be divided into 3 terms. The first term is a presentation about Petronas overview that will be presented by the Petronas YPC, one of the representatives. And the second term is the discussion session. And finally, the third term, for the last 30 minutes, we will have a Q&A session with the participants. Now, without any further ado, let's move on to the first terms, that is a presentation that will be brought by Ms. Renata. Ms. Renata, you may start the presentations.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I can share the screen now, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I think, well, first and foremost, good evening, all friends from UTP. This is such a pleasant and productive evening. So we're very honored to be invited as guests in this virtual event. And I hope you're doing all well, despite this horrific pandemic. So I think just before we start, it would be great and it would be wise for me to introduce myself first. So again, my name is Renata, and I've been working in PETRONAS for almost 1.5 years now. And I'm currently serving my role as a corporate communication officer. And on behalf of my YPC team here, I will explain or present about the company profile. And again, just before we start, I think I would like to invite Kak Mel. Kak Mel, I think you have one or two things to say before we start.
Yeah, just everyone. Thank you, Renata. All right, to all of the participants, and thank you very much to Uli. And previously, Zaki already contacted me, and I disseminated this info. And this is very fruitful discussion. This will be a fruitful discussion from us, and we can sharing together. So basically, we are at the same age, so no problem. This is an informal session. And I think we can discuss further later on for the session. And thank you very much for inviting us. We are very excited for this session. Thank you, Renata. You can go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, Kak Mel. Okay, I think I can share my screen now. Okay, just before we start, we have two videos to share with all of you. Okay, so the first one is a short company profile. Okay, I'm just going to play it now. Okay, so that's the first video, and then we have one more just before we start the presentation. So this video is actually about integrity in PETRONAS Indonesia. Okay, enjoy. Integrity is about doing the right thing, even when no one is watching. Punctuality is not about being on time. It's basically respecting your own commitments. It is not just limited to arriving at a place at the right time. It is also about taking actions at the right time. Integrity requires empathy. It is the ability to step outside of your own bubble and into the bubbles of other people. Integrity is telling myself the truth, and honesty is telling the truth to other people. Honesty is making your words conform to reality, while integrity is making reality conform to your words. Excellence is the result of habitual integrity. It is the first step to true greatness. It is the principle that never fails and the essence of everything successful. Integrity is enjoyable. It generates a respectful and life-giving atmosphere whenever you go. With integrity, you have nothing to fear. You have nothing to hide. With integrity, you will do the right thing. You will have no guilt. Integrity is not something you show others. It is how you behave behind their back. As characters matter most. All right, so that's the video. So suddenly all YPC members became actors here in this video. Okay, so without further ado, I think we shall go through the presentation. Okay, so this presentation is actually about our company profile, and we're going to give you a further understanding on our business and also how we operate in Indonesia. Okay. Okay, so just a little bit of house rules for today's session. So please be reminded that the content of this presentation is limited only for the purpose of this event. And to avoid any disruptions, we would like to seek your support to disable your computer audio during the presentation and turn it on accordingly once the moderator opens the Q&A session to address your questions. And you can also type the questions in the chat room and we can have the moderator to read out loud. And we want to see your happy faces. So turn on your camera whenever you want to ask questions or you want to share your opinions or ideas. Okay. Okay, so just a brief introduction. So we were actually introduced at this at the beginning of the session. So yeah, this is the only night that we dress up like this. This was taken actually last December during our year-end event. And yeah, the head of YPC Indonesia, we have Kak Melinda from Exploration Department. And then we have two other sections in our YPC team, and they are project delivery. And the team consists of Mas Berry from Finance Department and also Mas Kashif from Corporate Communication. And then in the People Development area, we have Mas Kema from Legal, and then myself from Corporate Communication. Okay, so I think we shall progress to the next slide. Okay, I'm just going to briefly read the content or the overview or the outline of today's presentation. So we will start by showing you a glimpse of the beginning of PETRONAS in Indonesia, and then we will follow with the upstream business and also our key milestones or our stepping stones in Indonesia, and then a closer look to our business, and then how we conduct our CSR programs as a part of contributions to our surrounding community, and also how we uphold HSE as our core. Okay. Okay, so now we have come to the first part of the presentation, which is a glimpse of our beginning in Indonesia. Okay, so PETRONAS has operated in Indonesia for almost 20 years now, and starting its venture into Ketapang working area in the year of 2000. And then 3 years later, we opened our Jakarta office. And in the same year, PETRONAS Lubricants Indonesia was also established. So for almost 20 years, it has been a story of growth and expansion in Indonesia with interest and holdings across the oil and gas value chain. And this includes the production sharing contracts or PSCs or contract bagi hasil, yeah? And this is in the upstream business. And then it is followed with the downstream activities, which include the trading, the marketing, and the retailing of oil products to customers from automotive, industrial, marine and base, all lubricants, and then an extended range of petrochemicals. Okay, so I think we can move on to the next slide. Okay, about our upstream business and our key milestones. So actually, we have participating interest in 8 PSCs across Indonesia, both offshore and onshore. And from the 8 PSCs, we are actually the operator of 2 working areas, in which one is in the development and production phase, and then the other one is still in the exploration phase. And we'll get through this more in the next slide. And then we also have 6 other working areas which are operated by others. And then, as you can see on the right side of the slide, here are our key milestones for this past 20 years. Okay, so as previously mentioned before, we in the year of 2000, PETRONAS farmed into Ketapang block. And then 2 years later, we also farmed into Jabung block and also Natuna CA. And then we made our ways to farmed into Madura offshore and also Moria block in 2004. And we actually gained the operatorship for this. And then in 2008, we actually acquired and became the operator for Ketapang 2 block. And then our business has grown robustly, as in 2015, we signed new PSCs with ConocoPhillips for Kuala Kurun, and then UPSC for North Madura and North Madura 2 block, and actually we gained the operatorship. And then we also delivered our first hydrocarbon from Bukit Tua field, and it is located in the Ketapang 2 block, and then also the first hydrocarbon from Kapodang field, and this is located in the Moria block. And then in 2018, we farmed into Sakakamang block and signed the JOA, or Joint Operation Agreement, with Repsol and MOECO, which is Mitsui Oil Exploration Company. And in 2019, KBD2X was discovered in Sakakamang block with Repsol and MOECO, and this is deemed to be the largest gas discovery in Indonesia for the last 20 years. And then in the same year, we acquired and signed the JOA, Joint Operation Agreement, with Repsol for Andaman 3 block. And I think we can move on to the next slide to give you a closer look on our business in Indonesia. So as you can see here, so we have 8 PSCs, right, as previously mentioned before. And let's take a closer look on this. So as you can see, we put this in different colors, right? So the green ones are actually the blocks or the working areas that are operated by us, and then the rest, the 6 of them are actually operated by others. Okay, so for Ketapang block, we have 80% of share, and this is actually, it's still in the development and production phase. And then in North Madura 2 block, we actually have a full share of this, and it is still in the exploration phase. And the other 6 PSCs, we have on the far left, we have Andaman 3 block, and we have like 49% of share of this, and it's still in the exploration phase. And then we also have 2 other blocks in Sumatra, which are Sakakamang, and we have 45% of share for this, and it's still in the exploration and development phase. Similarly, in Jabung, we have 36.85% of share, and it's actually in the production phase. And then I actually mentioned about Natuna CA block, right? So we have 15% share of this block, and the phase is also in the production phase. And in Kalimantan, we have 1 working area, which is Kuala Kurun, and we have 40% of share, and it's still in the exploration phase. And then the last one, this is the Madura offshore block, and we have 22.5% of share, and also it's still in the development and production phase. So that's the glimpse of our business in Indonesia. Okay, so yeah, I think we can move on to the next slide. So as an organization, we continuously contribute to our community. So this is through our social investment programs, which are focused on education and capability building and environment and health, and also community well-being and development. So for education and capability building, since 2003, we have sponsored 76 Indonesian students to continue their higher education at UTP. And these candidates were actually selected through a stringent merit-based selection process, which focus on excellence in academic performance. And today we have more than 80% of the sponsored students who have graduated, and some of them are actually working with us in PETRONAS Indonesia. And to name a few, we have Mas Redata Gama Ardian Rangkuti. So he is the lead production operator in the production operation department. And also we have Mas Julian Rizky Ada. So he is the executive in the business development department. So both of them joined PETRONAS in 2012. So he's been with us for for almost 10 years. Okay, so yeah, I think we can move on to, this is actually the last part of the presentation. So HSC, which stands for Health, Safety and Environment, is actually an integral part of any oil and gas companies. So we truly uphold HSE in our daily business communities. We're committed in achieving sustainable health, safety, security, and environmental protection in all of our activities. And actually, we have ZITO rules, which is zero tolerance rules, and it is one of the many safe systems of work in place in PETRONAS, which prescribe 10 mandatory principles that must be adhered to by all employees at all levels. And perhaps I can give you a little bit of glimpse of this ZITO rules. Like, for example, we need to have a work permit to enter the site, and also we need to be authorized to enter a confined space or to work at heights. So this ZITO rules is to ensure that we can work in a safe and healthy environment. So yeah, I believe this will be the end of my presentation today. So I hope it gives you a further understanding on our business in Indonesia and about PETRONAS in Indonesia in general. So to close my presentation, I actually have one more video to show you. Okay, so I think I can share with you now. Okay.
respected members of the Indonesia leadership team.
The event. I hope you will enjoy the session. Thank you very much.
Indonesia will remain to be a country that PETRONAS will focus on.
Thank you CAA dan all of organizing committee to arrange this event and sukses ya.
Kami sungguh merasa memiliki hari yang bermanfaat karena bisa dekat langsung dengan Tan Sri. Banyak informasi yang bermanfaat bisa kami terima.
Kami bisa merasakan update yang ada di PETRONAS, kemudian series of issues yang ada di PETRONAS. Overall, sangat menyenangkan berada di staff engagement pada tahun ini.
All right. I think, Loli, I think that will be it for my part. And then I'll give it back to you.
All
Thank
right.
you very much for attentively listening to the presentation. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Ms. Renata. And what a great presentation and video, and very insightful. I personally really interested, especially for the Teh Tarik session included in the last video. And it is also very insightful because we are now more about the PETRONAS and the business they are done in Indonesia. All right, now we will now enter into the second terms, that is the discussion session. And now that we have introduced the PETRONAS company, let's find out more about the current situation in the company or in the PETRONAS to open this discussion. All right. Now, speaking of this pandemic situation, I want to know that does PETRONAS experiences any substantial decline in the demand for equipment and services? I might will pose this question to Miss Melinda Arisandi because she's working in the exploration department. Miss Melinda, please.
Okay, you're asking about the pandemic situation currently. So basically, this pandemic has impacted all the oil and gas companies worldwide. It's not only for PETRONAS, and all the companies basically now in survival mode. So all the companies just try to survive with these uncontrolled factors. So basically, in oil and gas industry, there are two factors that we cannot control. The first one is the pandemic, the virus, like this COVID-19. The other one is about the oil price. So these two factors basically become uncontrolled factors that we cannot control so far. So for PETRONAS, basically in pandemic situation, maybe the impact that we can see is the project delay. And I think all the companies also face the same thing. And because these project delays, so sometimes the projects cannot meet the timeline. but we're still struggling. We still do our best to do our work at extra miles, and we are still survive until now. And I think all the companies in Indonesia is doing the same thing. We try to survive and deal with the pandemic now. And this is the question for me, right? Can my team add something? Maybe if you want to add, please.
Yes, thank you, Miss Melinda, for the explanation. Maybe I would like to pose the same question to Mr. Gema Akbar, probably. If you want to add something, or maybe about the strategy do Petronas, like maybe the only handful projects to continue this year from your side, from your perspectives.
Yeah, thank you, Uli. Yeah, I think from Mbak Melinda explanation will be the same about the pandemic, but I just want to add a bit. Actually, before the COVID-19 outbreak, oil and gas industry already hit by the plunge of the oil and gas price, which triggered by oil price war between, you maybe already know, Russia and OPEC Plus. They refuse to reduce oil production in order to keep prices for oil at moderate level. Even worse, shortly after the oil is over supply, now we have the pandemic situation which trigger low demand of oil and gas from the market. And I think around April 2020, you might heard in the US that for the first time in the history, the oil price dipped below zero as stockpiles overwhelm storage facilities and the producers forced to pay to dispose the excess. And does Petronas experiencing any substantial decline in the demand? The answer is yes. As Mbak Melinda mentioned, uh, in this unprecedented time for Petronas Carigali Indonesia, the demand from our buyer is declined, but yeah, we as a employee of Petronas Carigali still blessed that we still have the job and still get a full amount of wage and facilities, while others company or others employee being laid off. At the same time, Petronas Carigali, our strategy to survive is we change our way and we moving forward and facing up the situation. We put everything into digital, and we have the system that help and make work more easier, and we make sure the employees more productive, especially while working from home. And we sort out which project that really have a big impact there, to increase our revenue and total oil and gas production. At the same time, we try to make cost optimization in all sector without neglecting the HSE requirement. I think that's for me.
Thank you, Mr. Gema. Well, yeah, I agree that it is sad because, yeah, as Miss Melinda also said previously, because it's not only maybe in Petronas, but also many companies have to deal even with the staff cuts and maybe even bankruptcy. And I am amazed, by the way, at the way Petronas handle it, and I'm sure that this is an inevitable things, especially considering that this oil and gas industry has to deal with many uncertainties, where COVID-19 and oil prices are two of them. All right, now I'd like to move on to the finance questions. What is the impact of the plummeting or the falling crude oil prices, and especially this COVID-19 situations on the company finance? I think Mr. Bari Hetaria can help me to answer these questions.
Okay, you must be curious about what's happened with the oil price and what's the impact to our company. First and foremost, I think we should see the portfolio of Petronas Indonesia. Most of our portfolio is actually gas. So with gas, is actually you have contracts. So for example, for this year, buyers are obligated to buy certain amount as stated in the contract. So first thing, we are safe on that part. Regarding the company finance, I think I'm personally the one that's doing one of the financial statement of two of my portfolio, which is the Jabung and Natuna. I think for my portfolio itself, I can speak from it that we still give our shareholders, Petronas headquarters, generous dividend this year. So yes, the income that we want is probably not as big as last year, but it's not like a radical different like red everywhere where we cannot pay our shareholders the dividend back. So I think it's media make it too big, make a big matters about this, but actually, in Petronas we are very efficient. We are very cost conscious. I think I was in the team of UPC reduction this year, where all of the staff try to contribute, give their ideas to the company. What can we do to make our company more efficient in term cost wise? So I think from the balance sheet or the financial statement perspective, it's okay. It's good. We still generate money. We still pay dividends. And I think that's what matters. I think.
All right.
From me.
All right, Mr. Bari, thank you so much. Yeah, I agree with you. Especially, I think it's true that we have to read portfolio before believing what media stated in their journal or their articles. We should double check that. Absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Bari. Anyway, and that's I think that's a good open for the discussion. Now I'd like to move on to the working experiences part, which is related to the topics in this section. I think I want to go around the table. I'd like to know about the working experience our young professionals have in Petronas. I want you to tell me more about it. How long has it been, and what are you doing in your role? Maybe for the first, I would like to go to Miss Melinda from the exploration. Miss Melinda, please.
Okay. Thank you, Uli, for the questions. So the working experience that I have in Petronas, I can talk to you about my career in the beginning. So I started joined Petronas in 2014. So last time I did my final assignment as well in Petronas because I graduated from the one of University Indonesia, Pajajaran University, and my background is geology. And then I joined Petronas last time, did my final assignment, and then I joined Petronas, continued my career as an apprentice. Apprentice program is allocated for the graduated students. So after I joined as an apprentice for 6 months, and then I converted into the employee last time. And during my conversion from the apprentice to the staff, to the permanent staff last time in Petronas, basically we were faced the oil price downturn as well last time in 2015, if I'm not mistaken, and now we face the same thing. And last time that was a struggling time as well for us to looking for the opportunity in oil and gas industry. But yeah. Because the lucky time for me, and then I joined Petronas this time. And then I joined Petronas and started my career in exploration department as a geologist. And I didn't go anywhere, just still maintain in exploration until now. And another role as a geologist, I also lead for the YPC in Indonesia since 3 years ago. So I joined YPC as a member last time, and then I lead YPC until now with my team now, 4 of my teams. And as a YPC, so YPC is a young professional club in Petronas, basically one of the section subsidiary from the PIPC. PIPC is the bigger one as a Petronas Indonesia professional club. So this all for the employees in Petronas, but YPC is dedicated only for the staff with the age below 35 years old. So later on, if any one of you joining Petronas in the future, so you will join this YPC as a member as well, and you can be a committee in the future. So as a geologist, basically, after this 5 years, I did all the stuff related with geology, is like doing the geology, geophysics stuff, doing the block evaluation, and then I did some of the interpretation for the subsurface data, and drilling the wells for exploration, something like that. And then I went to the rig, and then I drilled the well, and I got all those experiences PETRONAS. But basically, that's very awesome. And you have a job in PETRONAS that basically you will be very happy. This is very good environment for me to have a job in PETRONAS. Maybe that's all. I come back to you.
Thank you, Miss Melinda. That's a very interesting journey you have, and I'm glad that you are enjoying your job. And maybe I'd like to move on to Mr. Bari from Finance and IT Department. I would like you to share your experience, and maybe please, I would also want to know if you have any, you don't have an academic background in the oil and gas industry, so maybe you have any particular challenges in the early stage of your career to adapt to this industry? Please. Mr.
Okay. I joined PETRONAS 3 years ago, actually, and I really like working here. I think everybody perform on the highest standard, compared to the previous company that I worked before when I came to PETRONAS. Everybody is so energetic. Everybody is so full of drive and always motivated, highly energetic. So I really enjoy it, and the boss also have the same mindset, like us. So if for example, if we have to work overtime due to the closing of the financial report, the boss will stay with us. So it's always like, even though we are a very small team, right? Because oil and gas is a very oil and gas is very efficient in the way we are. We are not startup, no longer startup, right? Where everybody can do the double function or same jobs, and do two-person do the same job. So in PETRONAS, like, it's very high skilled environment working. Everybody is very skillful. So been working here for 3 years, and I'm doing the fun part of the finance, actually. Not only the balance sheet, not only the financial statement, but also I'm taking care of if you remember the Indonesian map that you saw in the presentation. So I'm actually the one that dealing with partners from Natuna, from Premier Oil, and from PetroChina with Jabung. So I'm the one that see their program and their budget, how's their cash call and everything. So it's very fun, and I really enjoy it. So even though I have no oil and gas industry background, but everybody in the finance department is very helpful. They always help me and always introduce me with a lot of oil and gas term, and I have a lot of good colleagues that very helpful. So yeah, like I said, the environment is very good. People, it's very pacey, but people around you will help you. So you'll be able to keep up with the pace. So you will get it, the oil and gas industry, with no time. It's very easy if you enter the company. So it's very fun environment. I always welcome people to join and to learn. I think this is the best place to learn. I always tell everybody that come. This is the best place to learn about oil and gas industry. So that's what I think.
Thank you, Mr. Bari. Well, that's very amazing experience you have. Now, I would like to move on to Mr. Gema Akbar. Maybe you can share with us. I would address the same questions. You can share your working experience at PETRONAS, and how are you doing there? And of course, is there any difficulties you found in the early stage of your career in the PETRONAS?
Okay, thank you, Uli. Yeah, actually, how's my working experience at PETRONAS? Honestly, I'm still new kids on the block here. I joined the PETRONAS in 2019, Yeah, I've been working for almost 2 years in legal department as in-house lawyer. My main accountability is to safeguard company from legal aspect. For instance, to protect the rights and interests of company to be reflected in any contract or binding documents, and provide legal advice, conducted compliance and assessment program. And yeah, for me, it's been spectacular becoming one of Petronas family. The environment, the atmosphere, and especially the colleagues makes work more fun and challenging. We have a lot of communities and activities like Miss Melinda mentioned before. Like we have Young Petronas Club, we have professional club and a sport community, religious community, etc. And talk about my first time jump into oil and gas industry. I've been working in oil and gas industry for more than 10 years. At my very first time to jump into oil and gas industry, especially for upstream industry, it's quite complex and quite difficult compared to other industry. Why is that? Oil and gas industry will require more than a year to experience the whole business cycle. In short, the process until we produce the oil and gas, it could be take more than 5 years. Yeah, it's like you need stay at least 5 years to experience the whole process from the scratch, from the beginning. That's why in upstream oil and gas career is not the same with other industry. I mean, if we compare with other industry, probably you only need like 3 or 5 years working experience to hold a manager title. But I think it's not the case for upstream oil and gas industry. At least you need like from 8 up to 15 years of experience to become a manager, especially in core department. Thank you, Uli.
I see, I see. Thank you, Mr. Gema Akbar. And now I would like to ask from the corporate communication perspective. We have two of them here, Mr. Gasif Reza and Ms. Renata Putri. I think we will keep Ms. Renata Putri for the last, and I will go to Mr. Gasif Reza first. All right, Mr. Gasif, can you share your experience?
Yes, thank you, Uli. So at first is my working experience is not from oil and gas. So because I first worked as a website and content strategist at startup company, and then I studied for my master degree in 2018. After that, I graduated in 2019, and then I worked as apprentice for 6 months, which at first my responsibility is to assist the corporate communication team to handle the documentation and the contents for the good for Indonesia Petroleum Association's conference, our IPA, which the result is your the film or video that you already saw at the first of the session. At first I have no idea about oil and gas industry at all, but well, of course I have to do my homework because our colleagues is supportive and everything we ask and what we will want to know more about the oil and gas, they also always support to us. And then I think the challenge for me is at first I have to shift mindset, which is in my studies, most of them is about end user or more about to customer centric. And for now, I have to think about more like such as strategical corporate communication, which is the set goals is different from the end user. So right now I'm writing and then documenting the activities of the company, which later will be the content for internal and external, such as maybe can advertising or for engagement like the sessions. So yeah, I think being adaptable is a must, and yeah, that's all from me.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gasif, and thank you for sharing your experience and also for the video because you said you made it, and especially for the teh tarik clip. I'm repeating it
you.
again.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Now we move on for the last speaker, Miss Renata Putri. Are you back?
Yes, I'm back. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, Miss Renata, I can't wait to hear your experience working.
Okay, so as you can see, compared to my YPC colleagues here, I'm the most far stretched in terms of work experience or educational background. So as you have mentioned before, yes, that is true that I was majoring in English literature from University of Indonesia, and then for around 1.5 years, I was working at an HR training and consulting company. And then that was actually when I found my personal mission statement, which is to positively impact others through personal growth and expertise. And then my destiny has led me to PETRONAS. And then for almost 1.5 years, I was serving my role in a L&D section, learning and development section. So of course, with academic background, I have no academic background in an oil and gas industry. Although my father is a oil and gas professional, it felt that I really started from zero when I got here, and I said, "Oh my God, the oil and gas business to me is very complex." And I think it takes years for me to finally understand the whole scope of this business. But again, I'm grateful for my team, my superior, and also my colleague in L&D, as they're very supportive and they're very helpful in helping me to understand the scope of oil and gas business. And again, I'm very grateful for my YPC friends, my YPC family here, as even in our during our informal conversation, the conversation is actually very productive. And that was when we exchange our ideas or concerns or opinions about oil and gas industries. So yeah, I feel that whenever I engage in a conversation with my YPC friends or family, I feel smarter for some reason. So yeah, so I think, and now I'm serving my role as a corporate communication just this November. So yeah, it's another role for me, another challenge, another milestone to go for. So yeah, I believe that would be it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Renata. I'm very happy for you. Anyway, before I move on to the career development in PETRONAS, I'm still interested to Ms. Renata. Is this position has been your dream before? The position you are having now?
Okay, so to be in a corporate communication, right?
Yes.
Okay, so actually, at first, I didn't expect to be serving my role in a corporate communication, because I was planning that, okay, for the next 5 years or 10 years, I will be focusing on how I can be impactful to people in terms of their personal or professional growth or expertise. But again, just like in an instant, okay, I'm off to another mission, and then I'm here. But again, for me, I'm very curious to learn, and I'm very curious to know what's ahead of me. And I'm actually learning a lot from Gashiv. So he's been in a corporate communication for like 1.5 years now. So yeah.
I'm also learning from you, Renata.
So we are teammates now.
Yeah,
all right.
Helping each other.
Yeah. So yeah, I think to me it's an exciting journey, because I don't know what's ahead of me. I'm sure that there's a lot for me to catch, but yeah, I'm sure that because PETRONAS has a very supportive environment for you to grow, I have no doubt that I can gradually learn in this field.
I see. Thank you, Ms. Renata. All right, now I think we'd like to move on to the next topic. It is about the career development in PETRONAS. What a very interesting subtopic we have. And I'll go to Miss Melinda. I want to ask about how is the career development in Petronas, generally speaking? How attractive is it? Is it slow or is it quick? Can you explain me a bit about that?
Okay. Okay, the question is about career development. All right. To me, I think all the oil and gas companies have the same rules for these career developments. So everyone in oil and gas industry have two options. So you can be a specialist and can be a management team. To be a specialist, basically you have different grades to be followed through. And as a fresh graduate, later on, if you join Petronas as a fresh graduate, and then you will have the first grade, and then you can move to another grade. Maybe it's about 3 years, and then after 3 years, you have the experience for the beginning and started your career in Petronas, for example, and you will be trained as the fresh graduate. You will have so many opportunities as a fresh graduate, and you will be experienced in many work job. So you can learn many things in the beginning. And then after you move to another grade, and then you go to the higher grade for another 3 years, and then you can choose your future. You can be, especially if you are technical like me, for example, as a geologist, you can be a specific in specialist. For example, I can be a stratigrapher, I can be a sedimentologist, and I can be for example, a seismic interpreter, and I can choose that specialist role. And if I want to go to the management team, I can choose the managerial flow. So after I did all of my experience at the beginning, maybe after you go to the higher grade, and then you come to the end of your career, and then you can choose for the end of your career. So you can choose you want to be a specialist or you want to be a management team. And I think in Petronas, for the career development from our HR team and all the management team in Indonesia, very support, and all of those requirements all is there. So all the requirements basically depends on your performance. And I think in all oil and gas companies will be the same. So if you have performed very good, and I think this will be very quick. And if you are just performance like in average, so maybe the movement and the mobility and about the development of your career will be stopped, and maybe it will be slow compared to others. But yeah, we have the rule. If anyone already pass and get all the requirements, you can move to the higher grade, and then you can move to the next career development. And management team, our HR team think about it, and all staff in Petronas, especially in Indonesia, and I know in headquarters also do the same. And all these staff already mapped out, and we know which staffs already become to be promoted or to be developed and to be trained, and all of these criteria already mapped by our HR. And I think for the career development we do have all the rules, and back to the basic again, it depends on your performance. So every year you have to be performed, and not only during the university class, not only in your life. So everything is about competition. So this competition is very good, because without any competition, you don't know what is your target, what is your goal. So this is the way how we perform. So we contribute to the company, and the company will value all the contribution, and you can get the promotion. I think that's all for me.
Thank you, Miss Melinda, for the sharing. I see that it's very interesting career development in Petronas, and also flexible and transparent, of course. Now I would like to ask Mr. Gashif Reza about the educations in Petronas career development impact. Do education degrees have a specific role in increasing career development opportunities at Petronas?
Yeah, thank you, Uli. I think it will be beneficial for me, since it will give us added value to the company, which the experience itself will provide you framework of thinking, and also a proof that we are already going for the extra mile. So I think it will be great addition for us to have more experience, such as like a master degree, or have not only master degree, maybe organizational experience is also gonna be really impactful for us, and it will be a special addition to the company to I think to recruit us. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Gasif. I think I want Mr. Gema to add his perspective to this question as well. Mr. Gema, can you share a bit about what do you think about the education impact on the career development at PETRONAS?
Okay, Uli, the education degrees, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Again, actually, this is still my second year at PETRONAS Carigali, Indonesia. Personally, I don't. In my experience during this my second year, I don't really see so far that education degrees will guarantee someone to get promotion compared to others who have lower degrees. And yeah, I think deliverability is the most important thing, and of course, attitude as well. And talk about the education degrees, in my experience, probably it will help you or will make you stand out during the recruitment process before you enter the company, because usually if there's plenty of applicant and then the recruiter need to filter at the first stage, then they will compare about the education degrees, the GPA, and achievement, something like that. But honestly, for my experience during my second year, I don't really see that so far, Uli.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gema. I can take note
Okay.
that the most important things turns out to be the deliverability and the attitude, of course.
Yeah.
Continuing that, we'll also still want to ask you, what are the things that do you think the students or the fresh graduates or maybe the other oil and gas young professionals can do to increase their chances of securing a job, especially in the oil and gas industry or maybe in PETRONAS? Mr. Gema.
Oh, still me. The question is for me. All right. Okay. For the fresh graduate, right? Yeah. Yeah. Before that, I think I know during this difficult time, the plunge of oil price, the pandemic, and the challenging for oil and gas industry to change to renewable energy is not easy, especially for fresh grads to get hired by the company. Most of oil and gas company only looking for the candidate who have at least like 3 years experience related in related field. Well, I think my advice for job seeker is just start early, collect your work experience, don't linger, do not linger, be out of a job just because it's not your dream job. You still could pursue for your dream job while you collect your work experience. And once you being hired, certainly to secure your job, all you need to do is going extra miles, improve and increase your competency and pace as well. Do not limit it yourself by your field. The company always looking for those people who willing to take more responsibility, and there's always need a reason why companies should give you the opportunity. It's really need talent. Talent ready and the right timing.
All right, thank you, Mr. Gema. I think that's a very prizeful advice you gave us to keep in mind, and for me personally also. And next, I want to ask about the challenges to compete for promotion at Petronas. Maybe Mr. Bari Hetaria, can you share what are the challenges to compete for promotion at Petronas based on your experience?
I think I said before that this is a very high performing company with the high skill sets. I think the challenge is everybody is actually performing in the high standard. So I think you try to be as good as all of your colleagues. Yeah. So I think the challenge is that for me. So how we can perform as good as others. But of course, I think 1 year can be different. Other year can be different again. For example, one of my friends this year apparently have a big audit project. So she's actually solved the audit finding. So it becomes her high performance that year. So sometimes it depends on your luck also. But I think in Petronas, the management is very fair. So if they see, and also the boss is very fair, they give you opportunity to show what you've got. They even give you, I think my boss give me a lot of creativity. I can accomplish things my way. So I think that's very relieving. So they give me opportunity and give me space to be creative. So I think the management sees our effort, and promotion usually it comes normally it's easily if you stay in the high performance. I think the challenge is actually consistency, right? So you want to keep on in the high ceiling performance all the time. So I think that's what's difficult part, because sometimes 1 year you feel motivated, sometimes you don't. But in here we wanted to keep it nice and even and steady. So I think that's what I think.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Bari. I agree with that. That happens in the career, there is ups and downs. Sometimes we have energy, sometimes we don't. And now I think for the last question about the career development, I would like to ask about that with the recent turnaround in the oil market and the growing bearish sentiments in the oil and gas, do you think it is worth to stay in the oil and gas industry right now? I think I want to address this question to Miss Melinda Arisandi. Miss Melinda, please.
Okay, thank Uli. Of course, the answer is of course. For the oil and gas industry, and I think this company and all of the oil and gas industry worldwide will keep the performance and keep outstanding for many years. I don't know, maybe 20 up to 30 years. And we know and we all realize that now we are moving to the renewable energy. But this renewable energy is very, we can say this one is quite complicated for Indonesia especially. So many factors that impacted this renewable energy in Indonesia, because maybe for the geology condition and its complexity is okay to have this geothermal, for example. But for the technology, we are still moving forward. We are still ongoing for this. But for the oil and gas industry in Indonesia, will be still outstanding for 20 or 30 years ahead. And because in terms of prospectivity in Indonesia for the oil and gas industry, and I think for the hydrocarbon perspective, still many giant fields that to be discovered. For example, we are fully explored in Western Indonesia. If you know, if everybody aware, in Sumatra Island, in Kalimantan Island and Java Island, it's already fully explored now. But all the geologists or geoscientists in Indonesia looking for another deeper play. And we are still thinking about the creativity and think about where the oil and gas to be found in the future. But the prospectivity is, and if we move to the Eastern Indonesia, for example, Eastern Indonesia is now we are considered this one as the frontier area. If I can say, Eastern Indonesia is including the Timor Island, if you know, Lombok Island, eastern part of the Lombok, Seram Island, as well as the Papua Island. So these all islands is located in the Eastern Indonesia, and this location we can consider as a frontier area, and all the giants discovery is still there. No companies fully explore the area, and we are waiting for another giant discovery in Eastern Indonesia. And in terms of government as well, government in Indonesia basically is still struggling and still motivating us. And this is the time to transform as well, because we want to looking for another giant discovery with another production target by 2030, 2030. So we want to have the production in Indonesia about 1 million barrel oil equivalent. So this is a huge number. So now we are in 2020. We still have another 10 years ahead, and we have to find that giant discoveries. And yeah, oil and gas industry is still outstanding for now. Another 20, 30 years, no problem. I think we don't need to worry about the job, about the career. In Indonesia especially, I talk about Indonesia, and the prospectivity is still there. All the basin is still prospective up to now, and we have to explore, and we need all the millennials to find the hydrocarbon, to find oil and gas. Maybe that's all for me.
Thank you, Miss Melinda. That's obviously has motivated. I'm sure that everyone's here, maybe other students and young professional here, and especially for me to pursuing my career in the oil and gas industry ahead. All right. Before that, I would like to remind the participants that we will move on to the last terms. It is the Q&A sessions shortly. So before that, I'd like to remind you to, if you have a question, you can type your question in the comment section. You can state your name, your institution, the question, and also you can choose a speaker whom do you want to ask the questions. All right, now I would like to go with the final subtopic. It's about the empowering women in the oil and gas industry. Especially this question is for our female speakers. It's Miss Melinda and Miss Renata Putri. Okay, I would like to ask maybe Miss Renata, you go first. What are the advices for women to land and survive a job in the oil and gas industry from your perspective in the business management role?
Okay, so the keyword is to land and to survive a job in an oil and gas industry, right?
Right.
So to land a job in this industry, first of all, you need to have the hunger, the hunger to grow. So you need to learn more about this industry beforehand if you want to land your career here in this industry, because sometimes during the interviews you will actually be asked how much do you know about oil and gas industry, but you don't have to know all about it. You just only you can tell them. It would be great if you can tell them the surface of your knowledge about this industry. And then to survive, again, we need to have the hunger to grow, because it's actually all about how we can stretch ourselves to grow, how we can contribute, and how we can be impactful while serving our roles. So in my case, I strongly uphold to my own personal mission statement, as I previously mentioned before, which is to positively impact others through personal growth and expertise. And that is what I've been doing. Even though that I'm now currently serving my role as a corporate communication officer, I believe I can still do that. And I think, the keyword is when you want to survive a job, you need to, sometimes the journey can be painful, but again, no pain, no gain. So I think you really need to know how you can exert the efforts to exponentially grow in this field, and you need to know how you can be impactful while serving your role. So I think the keyword that I want to emphasize is that how to be impactful while serving our role. So yeah, I think that would be it.
Thank you, Miss Renata, for that insightful and motivational sharing. And now I will go to Miss Melinda again. I want to hear about your perspectives on from the engineering role perspective, working in the male-dominated industry, what are your advice for the women to land and survive a job in the oil and gas industry?
Yeah. Okay, thank you, Uli. Basically, already answered by Renata in the beginning about the role of women, and I think this one coming from another perspective, and in my perspective and related with my role, basically in as a geologist, very limited women in geologists, I can say like that, because you know that during my in my university as well as a geologist, not so many people like to to join in the university as a geology, because because your university is very limited amount of women or female. So in the company is also the same. So for example, in my department, in exploration, we only have 2 up to 3 females as the members of the exploration team, and the rest is as the male. So basically the total of female in oil and gas industry from the engineering background is quite less compared to the male. But for the role, I think everything is almost the same. So if you join the company as a geologist, although you are a female, you are a male, you have to do the same work and you will get the same role. Your role is as a geologist, so you have to go to the field, you have to do the field work, you have to go to the rig, and all the roles and responsibilities will be the same. But maybe I think the woman or this female has the limitation maybe as a woman, but yeah, for the role of the job, still the same. So everybody have the same opportunities. I think also have the same challenges in oil and gas industry, and all the work also have been segregated also the same with the men, no impact for the role. But yeah, for the amount of female in oil and gas industry for the engineering is very limited. Just only 2 or 3 in my department. It's quite less. That's all, Willie.
Thank you, Miss Melinda, and also Miss Renata as well, because for the advices, especially for maybe that will be also beneficial for other female participants here. So that's questions from me. Now we are moving on to the Q&A session, our last terms. I see that a few comments, a few questions coming in the comment sections, and it's time for the Q&A session. To all participants, other participants who want to ask, you can just please mention your name and the institution and the question, and also the addressee or to whom the question will be asked. Okay, in the comment section, I see that there is one question from Khosravi Vahid. So this question will be addressed to Miss Melinda again. Miss Melinda, is it okay? Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. All right. So that's a question from Khosravi Vahid. I think I will read it for you. So his name is Fahid, and he's a PhD student in petroleum engineering, major in UTP. And the question is about the main skills that they are seeking to recruit people in their sections.
Okay. It's petroleum engineering. I think in the company as petroleum engineers, I think several roles you can be handled in the company. Not only in PETRONAS, all oil and gas companies, you can take over for the role as in the department, development department, development and production, as well as the drilling department. And I think your role is quite broad, and you can choose which one do you like. So, for example, in the company as petroleum engineers, you can do as a well surface, and you can do as a driller. You can have a role as the mud engineer, and you can have another role as I think quite big, surveillance and petroleum technology, as well as in the drilling department. So many roles that you can take, and I think you can cover these 2 departments. Maybe, for example, in PETRONAS, You can go to this development department as well as the drilling department, wells department. And you can do all those things about engineering with your background. And I think to prepare about this, and I think as a PhD now, I think you do prepare all those things as a requirements. And after you complete your PhD, maybe you can enter the company with your expertise. And I think the company also look for the look for the background. Like you, maybe a PhD. I think the company also consider about this. And for the roles, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, several roles you can take as your background as a petroleum engineer in the company.
All right.
Great.
Thank you, Ms. Melinda. Thank you, Ms. Melinda. I hope that answers the questions. And now the second question is also for Ms. Melinda, for you.
Okay.
It's coming from Zati Amira. She is a fresh graduate from MSc Offshore Engineering in UTP. The question is, what are the biggest challenges you faced during your career path in the oil and gas industry, and how did you stay positive to overcome it? That's a very nice question.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think each of us, maybe also my YPC team as well, for the career in Petronas, I think the biggest challenges for me is the time management. Entering the company, oil and gas industry, with the high expectation to all people that join in the company, basically it's a quite challenging part for me, because you will deal with deadline. It's not a week deadline. You have to do, and you have to complete your job within a week, but you have to do your work if maybe your boss, your supervisor just requested the work in the morning, and then you have to do all those things in the afternoon. You have to submit in the afternoon, and then you have to do it. And I think this time management is quite surprise for me when I joined Petronas, basically as a geologist. Basically during university as a geologist, I just go around to the field, I just see the rock. But in the company later on, I have to deal with these all rules. I have to stick with all these deadline, and I have to deal with that. But to overcome this, basically you have to do, and maybe you have to have the least priority of your work, and you have to have your patience, and we need to be passionate for progress as well, because we are millennials. We are YPC still considered as millennials, and all of you here also millennials category. So I think the energy is still quite big. So you can run through all the workload, and you can do up to late night, whatever. But this is one of the challenges that you will be faced to in the company later on. Maybe for me, this is the very challenges. And stay positive. Yeah, this statement, I like it. Stay positive. Everything comes to you is because your value. Whatever you do, it will be very valuable for the company. As long as you contribute to the company, as long as you do the right thing, and everything will be goes to you. I think that's all for me.
That's a very great answer, Miss Melinda. Thank you for sharing. Now we have 3 more questions in the comment section. I think that's enough for now, because we have a very limited time. I'm so sorry for that, but I'm sure that I have covers all the questions to benefit you. Now we move on to the next questions from Muhammad. He is a master's student in structural geology from UKM, and he stated that anyone is welcome to answer. And his question is, like mentioned before, most oil and gas companies, Petronas in particular, require candidates to have roughly around 3 years experience in the related fields. I suppose it is fair to say the other oil and gas companies have the same requirements too. So my questions, looking at the current situation, oil and gas seems to put a halt at the moment to accept any new graduates into their company. So what suggestion could you give for us to have those 3 years experience in related field in oil and gas while working in other industry due to the limited opportunities? Thank you in advance. So he stated that anyone can answer. Is there any? Do I have any volunteer?
Yeah,
Alright.
I think
I would like to answer.
Yeah, I think I can share my opinion on this. Yes, I see the memes everywhere. Actually, you have to have the experience to have a job. But when you know that the memes, right, about the experience and the job. So for me, is that you need to find other ways on how you can sell yourself. Okay. First of all, I think you need to figure out why you would be great for the job. So whenever you see the advertisement on the on the job vacancies website or newspapers, you believe that you could do the job right, right? And for me, you can sell yourself. You can figure out what can you do or how you can fit the requirement, and it doesn't have to be professional. For me, you can focus on your personal traits that can be helpful to serve the role, the advertised role. And then the second one is that I think you don't need to worry much about being the perfect match. So you need to believe yourself and point out a solid achievements throughout your educational experience or working experience, and put this in an outstanding cover letter. Okay, so sometimes what I know is that recruiters, they do like a basic screening on like the educational background and everything, but the way that you can actually sell yourself to the recruiters is that through a cover letter. So let's say you don't have the experience, but there's something in you that you can actually contribute, you can actually give to the company that you are applying for. So again, for me, there's always ways to actually sell yourself, despite these challenges that we're facing because of this horrific pandemic. So I think that's my opinion.
Yeah. Mas Berry, maybe you have another opinion, Mas Berry?
Yes, I do. So so people said about 3 years experience in oil and gas. I think that's not true. I think because from my experience, I think I only had 1 year experience before being recruited by Petronas. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Renata also has the same experience, right? So never worked in oil and gas industry before, but finally you join the company also. So I think there is no big problem regarding the experience. I think what the next part of the question I think is very interesting that I would like to chip in is what other thing that you can do to while working in other industry. What can we do, right? So I think you have to impress during the interview. I think that's the very important thing. So what you should do, I think, because I think most of people here is actually very technical background, if I'm not mistaken, because I see all the questions from the graduates in the engineering and from the for example, we have the PhD from the petroleum engineering. I think we need to all the technical people need to learn the financial side of the business side of the industry. So not only technical, but you are also, at least you can impress the interviewer about, okay, the business side of the industry. So if we have the financial type of people here in the room, I think I would suggest you to show the interviewer that you also understand a little bit technical about what is vessel, what is FPSO, what is drilling, so you at least you keep the conversation going with the interviewer. I think if you bring that to the table during the interview, I think you'll be okay, and the interviewer will say, okay, these people know what's up with the industry. So I think that can be very beneficial, and you show the interviewer that you love the field, not only your major, but also the whole system, the whole petroleum business, because I think it's very interesting. The petroleum business, oil and gas industry is very interesting. I think you can learn that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Barry, for adding the insight and gives more clarity into this. And I hope that answered the question. So moving on to the next questions from Intan Rahmalia. She's a environmental engineering student from Pertamina University. How to apply for an internship in PETRONAS Carigali as a fresh graduate? Maybe also want to ask about what kind of renewable energy is PETRONAS working on? Anyone want to ask these questions? Maybe Mr.
Mine,
Gashi?
Yes, Gasif or Mas Gema?
Yes, about internship, yeah. Personally, I think that the internship is kind of beneficial, especially for, of course, for the fresh grad student. But because it's the main job of the company is always a high requirement, so it's gonna be based on the needs of the each of department. So our HR will tell us the what our HR will give the to the to the social media or so on about the internship, and then it will be not always open, but just to check out, always to keep up to date with the social media, because we don't know what the department needs, so it will be based on the needs of the department, I think. Yeah. So about the renewable energy Petronas working on, at first, because we are upstream, maybe in the future it will be Petronas will be entering the renewable energy in Indonesia, but based on my information is that we are already acquired M plus energy on the solar and wind, and I think we can see that maybe in the next years, yeah, in the overseas. Maybe it's for Malaysia market. So just wait. Thank you.
Thank
Maybe
you,
anyone want to add more? Tim?
Okay, Mr. Gashi.
Me.
Mr. Kema, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think I just want to add from Mas Gasif talk about internship and fresh grad program. Actually, if I'm not mistaken, Rena, please correct me if I'm wrong. Actually, we have a fresh graduate program if we don't have oil prices situation and pandemic. It should be we have a fresh graduate program, right, Rena? But unfortunately, yeah, I think from the previous question, talk about at least 3 years experience. That was my statement. Yeah, 3 years experience is because it's only for this during pandemic and this very challenging and difficult time for oil and gas industry. If there are any open vacancy, they will not open for fresh graduate for only this period of time during the difficult time. It's just temporary. After we after we pass this period, I think the industry will be recover, and then I think Petronas we can commence the program for fresh graduate.
Just be ready, ya Mas Gema.
Yeah, be ready. But
Just be ready.
while waiting that program, better you have another experience to make sure you stand out compared to other candidates who do not have experience.
All right.
Yeah, just be sure to monitor our website. You can actually drop your request there, actually.
Yeah, but again, unfortunately, during this time, it's quite challenging for oil and gas industry. If there's any vacancy, it will be only for the one who really have experience in their field.
Indeed.
Maybe I want to add a bit. For this, in PETRONAS, basically in PETRONAS Indonesia, maybe a bit different with our headquarters. And maybe for Indonesia, we have two programs basically for this fresh graduate. So if you are hasn't graduated yet from your university, in this case, you can be bachelor or master. This will be categorized as internship program. And then after you graduated from your university, and then you can join PETRONAS as apprentice if you are fresh graduate. But if you are considered as the experienced people, you can apply as the experienced employee later on for PETRONAS. And I think in our website, for all those information is open. And I think you can just drop your CV to the emails that has been shared in our website. You can search and you can looking for our website in the Google. And I think we do have share our email to drop your CV. And as mentioned by my colleague previously, as long as you are outstanding and this is the lucky time for you, and sometimes PETRONAS, if this is really considered as a business needs, and our HR will call you. I think this opportunity is still there. So just get ready as mentioned by Gasif. And once the opportunity coming in, you just you already prepare in everything. That would it be.
All right. Thank you very much, Miss Melinda, also Miss Renata, Mr. Gema, and Mr. Gashi for answering that question. I'm sure that it has answered the questions addressed by Intan Rahmalia. Well, all the best for you, Intan, for your internships seeking. All right. Now moving on to the last questions. It's our last question from the participants from Sylvia Ratna Kumalasari. Oh, no, sorry. I'm reading the name of the account. No, the name is Hashim Shaugi from Geology Engineering UPN. The question is, what is your perspective of the next challenge on the oil and gas companies such as PETRONAS, and what can we prepare towards that? Anyone want to answer these questions?
Anyone to be volunteer? Mas Berry?
I think perspective next challenge on the oil and gas company. I think the challenge is probably, of course, we all of us know that the world is actually shifting from the fossil energy to become renewable. I think that's very, very welcome. But I think PETRONAS actually already preparing for this. I think yesterday we just had our talk with our president, Tengku Taufik. He said, maybe others can add me, probably I forgot a little bit, but the PETRONAS actually planning to add more renewable portfolios in our arsenals to prepare for this. So I think, like previously mentioned, I think the first target is the solar and the wind energy, if I'm not mistaken. So I think PETRONAS also actually changed about our vision and mission statement. I think 2 years ago, or the first time I entered the PETRONAS, 3 years ago, I think the vision and mission statement, it stated that we are an oil and gas company. I think we changed it these last 2 years and to become a progressive energy solution. So I think we are preparing and we are taking off, not only focusing on, although our focus still in oil and gas industry, I think we are slowly shifting into a more progressive and more eco-friendly, more renewable in the future. So I think we'll be ready, and I think we have all the good talent capabilities to deal with that. I think all of the PETRONAS employees ready with that. So we have an excellent human resources here. So I think we will be okay with that. So I think that's my comment. Maybe others?
Thank you, Ms.
We just read to Mas Berry. So this is the one of the efforts that maybe not only PETRONAS, I think other companies as well, oil and gas industry, to adopt with the changes. because big changes that happen worldwide now because the pandemic, because the oil price downturn. We know these two factors become two of the main challenges in oil and gas industry. That's why many of changes that we have to be deal with. For example, the in terms of energy, we have to move forwards to another renewable energy. And for example, now we are moving to the digital because most of us now working from home, so we have moved towards this digital. Maybe someday, I don't know, is it oil company will become like a working space, something like that? I don't know. We don't know about these two factors that we cannot control in the future. So this is one of the efforts for me. This is one of the efforts how we adapt with the changes, because if we don't change and if we don't transform and we don't adapt with that changes, we cannot survive and we cannot develop our business. So that's why this is one of the effort, and this is the way we adapt with all the changes that very impactful to the oil and gas industry, including PETRONAS, including Shell, including Exxon, and so many oil and gas industry worldwide. Maybe that's all for me.
Thank you, Miss Melinda Arisandi. All right, so that's it. That's the last questions we have from the participants. Thank you so much for the questions, and we have now come to the end, and we have just have a discussion about from the current situation in the oil and gas industry, especially in PETRONAS, about how they impact the PETRONAS Carigali Indonesia, and also the working experience by the panelists and the career development, and also about the women empowerment. Now, to end these terms, I'd like to ask the panelists or the speaker to deliver a closing statement. Miss Melinda, maybe you can go for that, please.
Maybe I also read the question from Fahid. Maybe I can use this as my last statement as well. The question from Fahid is about the data science role. Okay, I think PETRONAS is very. I think this is very quite good in terms of digital and data science, because we establish our cloud, for example, and all those digital stuff we also develop. Even we do have our data science group, our digital group in headquarters, and this group is dedicated for all the people that very passionate in terms of data science, about the artificial intelligence, about the machine learning, and all those people can join this group basically. And PETRONAS is quite adaptable with this something like digital changes, and we really transform into this as well. Maybe in the future as well, this data science and this digital group will be very interesting. And I think the talent for this group is very crucial for the company now, because going digital will be a must for all the oil and gas industry now. And maybe my last statement, because we are talking about the career and we are talking about the young professionals, and I think the career in oil and gas industry will be very interesting. If you join the industry, you will get so many opportunities, despite all those changes, all those challenges. I mean, as mentioned as by my colleagues previously, by Renata, by Mas Gemma, Mas Berry, and Gasif. But this is very interesting, and all the people that working in oil and gas industry will be very happy with all those opportunities. And just get ready and prepare yourself to be outstanding. You cannot enter the oil and gas industry if you are in average. But I know all the students over here, because you are very passionate and you want to hear about the sharing session and about your enthusiasm. I know you have this passion, and I think you are ready to join the oil and gas industry. It's not only PETRONAS. I think all of oil and gas industry is open for you, as long as you have the expertise as per requested. Okay, that's all for me. Now your turn, the team, Mas Berry, Mas Gemma, Gasif, and Renata.
Okay, I think my last statement is Number one, all of you in the right majors. Number two, number one, you all choose the right majors, yeah. Number two, you guys, all of you are actually choose the right universities. I work with, I know several people that work in our company that come from your university, and they are among the highest performer employee in our company. So I think you're in the right spot. You're in the right major, right in this right prospective industry, potential industry. So all you need to do is trust yourself and always be positive, and I think you can conquer the world. Don't worry about it. I think that's for me.
Thank you, Mr. Barry. Go on next, maybe Ms. Renata. Any closing statement from you?
Okay, so again, this has been very insightful and pleasant, even for us as the speakers here. And my message for all of the attendees here is that despite this abrupt and horrific pandemic that we're facing now, please do remain vigilant and optimistic and remain passionate in what you're doing right now. And I'm sure that you will be embarking upon a career path very soon. So please do stay passionate in what you do and stay optimistic, because every person is actually gifted. So you need to believe in yourself that you have the things that others don't. So take the time to really find it, find the inner voice within you, find the things that you are passionate about, and be focused in pursuing that. And I think you need to remain optimistic and believe in yourself, because I'm sure that you can achieve things. I mean, we all do, at the right time in the right place. So yeah, I think that's it for me.
Thank you, Ms. Renata. Going next, maybe Mr. Gashif. You can share your closing statement.
Hello, yeah. For me is you have to keep being extraordinary and give positive uniqueness that will benefit the company, and of course build your experience portfolio and just be curious and strive for excellence. Yeah, that's all for me.
Great, thank you, Mr. Gashif. And last, we want to hear a closing statement from Mr. Gema. Please.
Yeah, thank you, Oli. Yeah, first, it's been an honor to be among such accomplished individuals here, and my advice for all of you is just stay hungry, stay thirsty, and just be prepared, be ready, always do the best, going extra miles. And yeah, the opportunity is always there when all of you is ready. Yeah, I think that's all from me. Uli, thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Gema, and thank you. So I think that's it. That's our discussions, and I would like to say a very high appreciation for all the speakers from PETRONAS YPC, and of course to all participants. Thank you for the enthusiasm. And finally, as a closing from me, I'd like to share one of an inspirational career quote from Oprah Winfrey. Your journey begins with a choice to get up, step out, and live fully, because life begins at the end of your comfort zone. Thank you, everyone. I'm Uli, and I give it back to the MC. Back to you, Mr. Lutfi.
Thank you, Ms. Uli Zakiatulusna, and to our honorable speakers. It is very wonderful session that we had today. Moving on to the last session in group photo session, please kindly open the camera for the photo session to all audience. Can you please open all of the camera so we can start our group photo session? So we can see all of your face. Okay, so let us start. We will have 3 times photo session. So the first photo is 1, 2, 3. Second photo. 1, 2, 3. And the last. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We have now approached at the end of our session today. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I would like to thank you very much for attending the talk this evening. We really hope that it gives you guys some insightful information that would be beneficial for our next future career. Please fill in the feedback form that will be displayed by the QR code on the screen at the end of our session, or you may also click on the link provided in the chat box. Feel free to follow us on our social media platforms for more information regarding any upcoming events. Till next time, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Stay safe and stay healthy. Goodbye and see you, everyone. See you.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Assalamualaikum.
Bye.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lutfi. Thank you, Uli, Zaki, and all the PPI UTP. Very much.
Welcome, Miss Melinda, Kak Mel.
Melinda.
Yeah. See you again.
And see you again.
And also, hopefully, maybe later on you can share the feedback result to us, our improving result.
Yes, absolutely.
From you. Okay. Thank you very much. I will see you again.
Thank you, Kak Mel.
Stay safe, everyone.
Stay safe. You too.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lutfi.
Thank you.
Nice, Vi. Thank you, Vi.